And Manu, we're going to start in Austria, in Salzburg, not far from where you were raised, born and raised.
Yep.
RB Leipzig left winger Kerim Alajbegovic.
Salzburg, not Leipzig.
Yes, Salzburg, yeah.
Same company, different team.
Did I say Leipzig then?
You sure did, but that happens probably to a lot of people.
Well, some may say that's by design, but anyway, yes, Salzburg, he doesn't play for Leipzig yet. Might be along the way soon. But yeah, left winger, 18 years old, Alajbegovic, Kosovan, very impressive young talent, Manu. And in the recent Austrian market value update, his market value increased from 15 million euros to 22 million euros. He did play in the Bundesliga, or played for a Bundesliga club, not RB Leipzig, of Bayer Leverkusen, if my memory serves me right. But yeah, you've been speaking to our Austrian expert Dorian about his talents, and what have you made of him this season, and the fact that his market value has now increased but to a really impressive 22 million euros in the Austrian Bundesliga?
Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to see him back in the Bundesliga. He's a Bayer Leverkusen academy player. They poached him from 1. FC Köln, where they also poached Florian Wirtz from. You may remember him. And then he went through the Leverkusen academy system. They then sold him to Red Bull Salzburg in Austria, the Mozartstädter as they are known also, for 2 million euros, but sneakily put in a buyback clause for 8 million euros, which they have now triggered. So Alajbegovic is coming back to the Bundesliga. There's been a lot of rumors. Roma, Napoli, Inter Milan, they've all been trying to sign him. I understand that Leverkusen have plans with him. They have another really talented player in Ibrahim Matza, and the two of them, I think, would complement each other quite well. But yeah, because of all the offers that he's been receiving from other clubs, and of course the fact that Leverkusen were so quick to trigger the buyback clause, that was a reason why our area manager in Austria and Switzerland, Dorian Schuster, who I spoke to about him, increased the market value. He also pointed out that Alajbegovic actually didn't have a very good second half of the season. For the third year in a row, Salzburg are not going to win the Austrian Bundesliga title. They were beaten out twice by Sturm Graz and this year by Lask from Linz. But, because of all the hype around Alajbegovic, who also was a key player for Bosnia on their run to the World Cup at just 18-year-old, there's a really interesting thing going on that Bosnia have one of the oldest players at the World Cup in Edin Dzeko, but also going to have one of the youngest in Kerim Alajbegovic. And, he's German born and raised, but represents Bosnia. And with all of that in mind, there was no way around giving him a significant market value increase. And I personally, I have family on the border to Austria, 20 minutes outside of Salzburg. So I do actually go regularly to Salzburg games when I'm over here. I think he's a star. There is no doubt in my mind that Kerim Alajbegovic is going to be a star at Leverkusen, because I have a hard time seeing them selling him on this summer, even though there is significant interest.
Yeah, I should say, I think I said he was Kosovan at the start of the section, and I really should apologise for that because he's obviously Bosnian, which is not the same thing. So my apologies for that.
Not quite, but I understand why people make the mistake.
Yeah. I think it's not Roger Federer, what's his face, tennis player. The other tennis player who's not Roger Federer.
Djokovic.
He was obviously asked about the nationalities in that part of the world, and he said, look, we're all the same. People need to stop getting worked up about it. But that's not for me to say. So anyway, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I think he's really, really interesting player. And I was just checking his youth stats, which you can get on Transfermarkt, and his numbers are insane. For Leverkusen's under-17 team, he has 26 goals and assists in 43 games. For the under-19s team, he has 28 goals and assists in 29 games, which is obviously what led to him moving on to Austria. Yeah, I'm really excited about him too, Manu. I think Alajbegovic his career, to me, seems to be going in a very well-structured way. He performs well at Leverkusen at youth level. He then leaves to go to a senior club to play senior football at a lower league, with all due respect to Austrian Bundesliga, which is considered in many ways a good stepping stone up to Bundesliga. and he's done remarkably well there at Salzburg. Okay, as Doreen, who, as we like to say, he can be very critical at times. He's got very high standards for the Austrian Bundesliga, so but that's important. He hasn't been perfect, Alajbegovic, but he has starred for Salzburg, and he's now arguably proved himself that level, and now he's got to go and make the step up to the Bundesliga. So it'd be really interesting to see if he starts for Leverkusen. Maybe they loan him out to another Bundesliga team this season, perhaps, see how he does in the German top flight. But yeah, a really interesting one, and Manu definitely want to keep an eye on. And as we said, if you're playing FIFA, EA Sport, whatever it's called these days, or Football Manager, keep an eye on him. And he will undoubtedly, in 12 months' time, if he does play for Leverkusen, be linked to your Premier League supergiant of choice, as is always the case.